Okay, so just to review a little bit about what we did on Thursday, lesson one discusses what a fraction is. So when a whole is divided into equal pieces. So equal pieces. So it says circle the pictures that represent fractions. Okay, so this first one we're looking at is divided into two pieces and they are equal. They are the same size. The second one, the square, it is divided into two pieces, but they are not of equal size. So this is not representing a fraction. The triangle is divided into three pieces. They are all equal pieces. So this would represent a fraction. The next one is cut into four pieces, but they are not all equal. So this would not represent a fraction. The cube is cut up into three separate pieces, but this is equal. They are all equal. So this would represent a fraction. The next one, this triangle, is cut up into four separate pieces, and they are all of equal size. So yes, this would represent a fraction. The next shape is cut up into 8 separate pieces, but they are not all of equal size. So this would not represent a fraction. And the last one is cut up into 4 pieces. And yes, they are all equal size. So this would, yes, represent a fraction. So the denominator is the bottom number in a fraction, and it tells you how many pieces the whole was divided into. Okay, so this first one here, the denominator would be 2 because it's divided into 2 pieces. This triangle is divided into 3 pieces, so the denominator would be 3. This one is also divided into 3 equal parts. This one here is divided into 4 equal parts. And this last one is also divided into 4 equal parts, so that would be the denominator. The numerator tells you how many pieces you have or that you're focusing on. Okay, so if I highlighted one side of this one would be 1 out of 2 pieces that I'm focusing on. This next one, if I highlighted 2 pieces, then my numerator would be 2. I'm focusing on those 2 highlighted pieces. So your numerator is how many pieces you have or you're focusing on. Okay, so we come down to number 4. Circle the phrases that name fractions. 1/2. Yes, that names a fraction, and it would look like this. 1 out of 2 pieces. 2/6. Those are just 2 numbers. So no, that would not be a phrase that would name a fraction. 4/10. Yes, I know that I'm breaking it into tenths and I'm focusing on 4 of them. So yes, this would be a fraction. 8/9. Well, I'm breaking it up into ninths and I'm focusing on 8 of them. So yes, this phrase would name a fraction. 6/8. Again, those are just 2 numbers being talked about together. So no, that would not be a phrase that would name a fraction. Number 5, write fractions to match the descriptions. A fraction with an odd numerator. Well, there could be many different things, but I could say 3, I know that's an odd number. 5 is an odd number. 7 is an odd number. But remember, we need to make this a fraction. So how many pieces do we want to break this up into? Let's say fourths. Maybe this one would be eighths, and this one tenths. It just asks for the numerator to be an odd number. So B, a fraction with a 2-digit denominator. Well, 2 digits could be anything above 10. So we could have 10, we could have 12ths, we could have 15ths. Any of those would work. And remember, it's a fraction, so it has to have a numerator. So what would we want to focus on? Maybe 2 here, 3 here, 6 here. A fraction where the numerator is greater than the denominator. Well, this can be any type of fraction as long as we're saying the numerator is greater. So if I have 8 on the top, I have to have something lower than 8 on the bottom. A fraction with a denominator greater than 10. Well, remember the denominator is the bottom number. So anything greater than 10. So it could be 11, it could be 12, it could be 13, and so on. And to make a fraction, we must have a numerator. I'll just make those all ones. A fraction with an even numerator. So your numerator is the top number, and it needs to be even, 2, 4, 6, and so on. Remember, though, to be a fraction, it has to have a denominator. And right now, we're not focusing on anything in particular, so we'll just use 5. Okay, so lesson number 2.